Hello, I'm Captain Tim Decker, United States Coast Guard Reserve, retired. I served in the Coast Guard for over 25 years. I'm a social studies teacher here at Homestead High School. November 11th is Veterans Day. Veterans Day is a day that we as a country honor the service and sacrifices of the men and women who have served our nation in one of our armed services during both war and peacetime. Veterans Day was originally observed as Armistice Day to commemorate the end of World War I. The armistice, or ceasefire, took place on the 11th month of the 11th day at the 11th hour in 1918. In 1954, Congress amended Armistice Day and renamed it Veterans Day, and it became a day that we honor all veterans who have served this great country. Armed Forces Day is second of 3 days that are observed throughout the year to honor our men and women in uniform. Thanks to President Harry S. Truman, it's a day to pay special tribute to the men and women of the armed forces. Armed Forces Day is a joint celebration of all 6 branches of the U.S. military: Air Force, Army, Coast Guard, Marine Corps, Navy, and the newly created Space Force. The day honors all people currently serving in the U.S. Armed Forces. Armed Forces Day is celebrated on the 3rd Saturday in May. The 3rd day we observe for the military is Memorial Day. Memorial Day is celebrated the last Monday of May. It is a day that we honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice to our nation and died defending our principles and values that have made us the greatest nation on earth. Many of you have relatives, neighbors, and others that you know who at one time or another have served in the United States Armed Forces. We have several teachers and staff members at Homestead who have served or currently serve our country in a reserve component of the military. Here's a list of those teachers and staff members. Each one of these individuals has made sacrifices of their time and talents to support and defend the principles of democracy. What makes a great society is the willingness of individuals such as these to become part of something bigger than themselves and to look beyond their own desires so that all of you may pursue your desires in a peaceful and stable society free of strife and conflict. Those that choose to serve don't do it for the recognition or praise, but more often see their service to the country as an honor and a privilege, as they are the guardians of our democratic values and processes. On Veterans Day, please take time to remember and honor those that have served and continue to serve, and thank them for their service to this country. The men and women of our armed forces continue to safeguard our interests both here at home and abroad, and help to ensure that our democracy will endure for generations to come. Thank you.
Hello, Homestead. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now for a moment of silence.
From Homestead Media, this is HHS In Depth.
Today is Friday, November 10th, and welcome back to HHS In Depth. Let's start with a quick rundown of today's show. First up will be reporter Emily Adams with a story over the recap of the environmental conference that happened earlier this week. Next up, Graham DeWitt will join Matthew Ott and me covering the mayoral election that took place earlier this week. Then Morgan Gillette will inform us on the recent move of student services from the main hallway to its new location. Later, I'll bring you a story over details to get you prepared for this year's semi-formal. We'll also have Carly Swymiller's weather report, in addition to Behind the Curtain with Samara Nicholson, and Down to the Wire, hosted by Elena Baker. All this and more only on HHS In Depth. Hello, Spartans, and welcome to HHS In Depth. I'm Jaron Ellis.
And I'm Matthew Lyon. And Jaron, after years of being friends, I'm glad we finally get to anchor together.
For sure. That photo sure brings back old memories.
Speaking of old memories, I'm missing the sunny skies and want to go outside this weekend without so much gloom in the air, but I don't know what the weather will be like.
Well, Matthew, let's head over to weather reporter Carly Swymiller to look into what it will be like outside today and the rest of the weekend.
Thanks, Jaron. The weather today is quite cloudy and definitely a chilly one as well. As we're leaving school today, don't expect the temperatures to get any warmer, so in my opinion, it's a great day to stop for a hot coffee. I'll be back later to give you a look into this week's weather, but for now, back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you for filling us in, Carly.
Now I know I may just want to stay inside tonight.
Same here. Instead of an outdoor walk, a quick session of We Fit will do for tonight. Carly will be back later with a full weather report for us.
HHS In Depth, national news.
Switching to national news, former President Donald Trump took the witness stand in a New York courtroom Monday, testifying in a high-stakes $250 million civil fraud case that could lead to dismantling of his sprawling business empire. Trump was sworn in shortly after the court was called in session and was soon ranting about the lawyer questioning him from State Attorney General Letitia James' office. Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin returned to Cincinnati on Sunday night, about 10 months after he collapsed and nearly died during a nationally televised game. Hamlin, who is 25 years old, went into cardiac arrest during the Bills at Bengals Monday Night Football matchup at Cincinnati's Paycor Stadium back on January 2nd, leading to the crucial Week 17 game to be declared a no contest. He was rushed to the hospital in critical condition and has since been cleared to play football again. Hamlin has been effusive in his appreciation of the Bills' medical team and first responders in Cincinnati who played key roles in saving his life.
Thank you, Matthew, for the national news update. Every once in a while, our students are given an opportunity to good the pass up. This year, our students got the chance to participate in the Rotary Global Affairs Conference to talk about modern methods of environmentalism. Reporter Emily Adams is in now to tell you all about the experience.
Every year, Rotary International hosts this conference to talk about different international problems. This year, they picked problems regarding environmentalism. They also invited Homestead students to attend this year.
This Rotary World Affairs Conference is great. It's bringing students together from across Indiana who care about issues really in the world in general, just care about their world. And I think that's really important, especially at this stage. You're about to go out in the world and start to really make a big difference in whatever respect that is.
I feel having an experience changes a person, both emotionally and physically, and allowing these students to attend an event to bring what's in the classroom to the real world is absolutely invaluable.
The environmental science students found that their connections of in-class lectures to the real world gave them a whole new perspective on these issues.
There's been a wide variety of topics covered today that are discussed in class, specifically things like positive feedback loops, pollution, adaptations, and so much more. The terms applied to real-life application make a connection for my students from the classroom to the real world.
For the organizers, speakers, and teachers, this all went farther than just talking about the environment. To them, this was about what this generation is capable of doing in the face of adversity in the future.
This is a chance to get students together to talk about important issues in the world. Today we're talking about climate change. That's great. There's lots of other issues that we face. And I think, these are the future leaders in our world.
So this conference really did reinforce the importance of my passion to just keep up the dialogue, for my students to remain aware of these situations, helping them to be involved in the solutions. And I also want them to realize the hope and influence that the narrative of the future has in their hands.
The entire conference was packed full of really great insight from different Purdue professors, and all the students learned so much about how they can better impact their environment, even now as a student. Reporting for HHS In Depth, I'm Emily Adams.
Thanks for the story, Emily. We'll be right back on HHS In Depth.
Welcome back to HHS In Depth.
Welcome back. Auditions for the Best Backup Band in the Land are coming up on Tuesday, November 14th at 3 o'clock p.m. Anonymous Blue is the renowned, award-winning, and nationally acclaimed backup band for the Homestead show choirs. Interested students should stop by Mr. Shaw's classroom in the new Performing Arts Wing to pick up music and an audition packet. Instrumentalists of all levels are encouraged to audition.
The Computer Tech Help Room has moved from room 301 to its new location at room 608. Please go to the new room for your computer tech help.
HHS DECA students, please see the QR codes in the hallway or visit homesteaddeca.com to register for your event this year. Stop by and see Mr. Dunn or Mr. McNeil with any questions.
Are you interested in learning more about athletic training? Our athletics trainers are looking for student athlete trainers for winter and spring sports. Applications can be picked up in the athletic office. Deadline for our applications is November 17th.
The annual Key Club Family Feud Night will take place on November 16th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. In order to participate, you must have a group of 3 to 5 people, and the admission fee is $7 per person. The winners of the game will receive $50. The forms and payments are due November 14th and should be turned in to Mr. Beer.
Students in AP Spanish last week were tasked with creating a shoebox ofrenda to honor a loved one or a famous person. They learned about traditions about Day of the Dead, including what foods are eaten, the elements in an altar, and how different parts of the country pay respect to the dead. They then represented those ideas themselves. Students from Profe Chadwick's Spanish 3 class, as well as Magistra Waite's Latin class attended and were able to see the finalized products.
Hey Jaron, did you know that last Tuesday was Election Day in Fort Wayne?
I did, but I'm not sure who won the race. And now is HHS In-Depth reporter Graham DeWitt, and I know this election was a crucial one.
It certainly was, Jaron. Fort Wayne had a couple of elections that they needed to go over, but the mayoral was the most notable. The race was between incumbent Mayor Tom Henry and challenger Thomas Didier. Both went into this race with a lot of experience in the Fort Wayne political sphere, as Henry has been our mayor since 2008, while Didier spent several years on city council. This was expected to be one of the closest mayoral races Fort Wayne has seen in a while, and this prediction came true, as Henry only won the election with 52% of the vote. He is now set to begin his 5th term on January 1st at the age of 72. This will make him the longest tenured mayor in Fort Wayne history and the 2nd oldest to ever hold the position. And since the Fort Wayne mayoral office does not have term limits, he can run again in 2027, but this is very unlikely. No matter what outcome you may have been rooting for, it will certainly be interesting to see what changes will come to Fort Wayne over the next few years.
Thank you for the report, Graham.
Every student at Homestead has utilized student services in some way, but it's now moved to another location in the building.
Reporter Morgan Gillette joins us now with more information on this move and where you can find the location.
Student Services has always been just across from the cafeteria, but now in preparation for a newer hallway bigger than the grand entrance, Student Services has given some old classrooms some new life.
What caused the change was the current student service office is next in the line for construction. So at the end of the month, hopefully construction progress will start from student services all the way through the old legacy gym. So the new student service rooms are all of the 500s, room 500 through 516, with the exception of 2 classrooms that are still in the mix, those 2 teachers are waiting for their new rooms to be done in the academic wing.
For some, this change is a major upgrade, but it's not without its challenges.
The benefits, I guess, would be more room. Each counselor has an old classroom as their entire office, and some of the classrooms have windows. So the drawbacks to the new space are we're spread out quite a lot over an entire 2 hallways. It's going to cause some extra steps for the students of Homestead. Instead of being more centrally located, we're again a couple more steps up the ramp. So that would be the biggest drawback, I think, is instead of us all being in one central location, we are spread out a little bit more.
The transition might be a bit jarring, but it's only temporary until they move into the new building. Reporting for HHS In Depth, I'm Morgan Gillette.
Thanks for the story, Morgan.
Hey Matthew, did you hear about the upcoming semi-formal occurring in the cafeteria?
No, but I would like to know more about it.
Of course, Matthew. Every year, as we draw closer to the final stretch of first semester, the Homestead Student Government hosts a semi-formal. For anyone interested in attending, here's some information you should know.
It is December 2nd from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. The theme is Golden Gardens. All grades can come, and unlike prom, students from other schools cannot come, and that is because there's just too many people coming, and our cafeteria would be too overpacked, and then there's also the chance students might act up and we won't be able to punish them.
Regardless if dancing is your strong suit or not, Bennett Gansor notes semi-formal can be a fun night for anyone.
People should come to semi because it's a unique experience, not the same as other dances they have attended maybe in middle school or other time at high school. And it's just a great night to get out with your friends and maybe people you don't know and you want to get closer to.
Tickets for the dance can be purchased during all lunches next week for $20. However, please note that ticket prices will rise to $25 starting the week of the dance and at the dance itself. So make sure to act fast.
Jared, with you talking so much about dancing, you just got me in the mood to hit the dance floor.
Well, Matthew, during our next break, you might have time to just do that.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Every fall sport has officially come to a close, such as golf, football, cross country, and more. I'll recap all of their wins and stats, including all of our other fall sports accomplishments, a little later on in Down to the Wire.
Welcome back to HHS In Depth.
Matthew, the weather for November has been really good, but will our luck continue as we get closer to Thanksgiving break?
I'm just hoping for another good weekend of weather, like we saw last weekend.
Weather reporter Carly Swymiller is in the studio now and ready to fill us in on what we can expect over the next week.
Well, guys, it won't be as warm as last weekend, but I, for one, am not upset with the colder temps. When the bell rings today, we'll see partly cloudy skies and 55 degrees, and things will get really cold overnight. As for tomorrow, it's going to be a high of 49 with partly cloudy conditions. It will dip down to 27 overnight. Sunday will be another cold one, 50 degrees, falling to the high 20s later that night. Transitioning into next week, Monday will have a high of 55 and sunny skies. After Monday, temps will slightly rise as Tuesday is going to be a high of 58 with mostly sunny weather. Wednesday will bring us a pleasant 61 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. Thursday will be partly cloudy with a high of 63 and a low of 49. As we move more into November, expect the snowy weather to arise soon. We shall see where we land next week. Matthew, Jaron, back to you.
Thanks for the weather report, Carly. A little cooler than last weekend's, but next week's weather warm-up looks promising.
It's time now to send it to Mara Nicholson for another segment of Behind the Curtain.
Welcome back to Behind the Curtain. I'm Mara Nicholson. To begin this edition, we would like to say a big congratulations to the Homestead Spartan Alliance Band, who competed in the preliminary Grand Nationals yesterday at Lucas Oil Stadium. And we'll find out if they advance to Grand Nationals semifinals tonight. I'm certain you gave an amazing performance, Spartan Alliance. Next, there's a new choir coming to Homestead. The brand new Handbell Choir will have its first meeting on November 30th, but they're still accepting new members until December 14th. No experience is required, and all are welcome to audition. If you would like more information, contact Mrs. Hardink at the email below. Our Homestead Cabaret performers delivered outstanding performances last weekend, captivating the audience with their talent and charisma. Their show was a great success, leaving attendees impressed and entertained. Finally, the award-winning Winter Guard auditions are coming up November 20th and 21st. No experience is required, and everyone grades 9 through 12 are eligible to audition. If you wish to be a part of the team, enter through door 38. Best of luck. Thanks for tuning in to Behind the Curtain. If you have any scores, performances, auditions, or anything else pertaining to the performing arts that you'd like to see on the show, send us an email at the address shown below. For Behind the Curtain, I'm Mara Nicholson. Matthew, Jaron, back to you.
Thank you, Mara.
Elena Baker is in now on Down to the Wire to take a look back at the great fall sports season.
Welcome back to Down to the Wire. I'm Elena Baker. While some winter sports have already started practicing and some even competing, I'm going to give you a recap of all of the accomplishments that our fall sports teams have made this season. The girls cross country team had another amazing season this year, ultimately becoming the first team from Homestead to win a state championship in cross country. Individually, senior Addison Canabolo placed 4th at state. The boys tennis team had a varsity record of 18-3. Some titles they accomplished this year were sectional champions, 10th straight in a row, Regional champions, semi-state champions, this was the third time in the last 4 years, and lastly, state quarterfinalists. Number 1 in singles, Stephen Meyer had a record 25-3, winning first team All-State and academic All-State. Number 1 in doubles, Alex Graber and Eric G, with a record of 28-2, were first team All-State. They also became the first team in school history that had a doubles team as an individual state champion. The girls golf team finished as the seasonal sectional champions, regional champions, and had third place finish at the IHSAA state finals. They also won the Homestead Invitational, Warsaw Invitational, Carroll Invitational, and the Hall of Fame Classic. They were ranked first going into the postseason. Cassie Ayers and Scarlett Sank earned first team All-State honors. The freshman, JV, and varsity sideline cheer teams had a great season cheering on the football teams. The co-ed competition cheer team also had a successful competition season. They placed second at the Cheer Up Carmel Invite, first at Bishop Dwenger Fall Classic, and qualified for the state finals by placing fourth in the division at the state prelims. Varsity co-ed competition placed fifth on Saturday at Newcastle and had a season high score. Unified flag football had also a great season consisting of 5 wins, 7 losses, and 1 tie. They had 34 athletes on the team. Even though they had a losing season, they had a lot of fun. The team lost at semifinals to Carroll 25-27. Senior Brock Cox was the MVP for the season. The football team finished their season with 5 wins and 5 losses, but in the conference play, they were only 1 game away from winning the SAC. The team played mainly underclassmen and are looking good for the future. The girls' soccer team record was 12 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie this season. They ended up being sectional finalists. Congratulations, girls. The boys' soccer team had a record of 5 wins, 9 losses, and 4 ties. Their wins being at New Haven, Bishop Luers, Snyder, Wayne, and Northside. Congratulations, boys. And finally, the boys' cross-country team had an amazing season, consisting of 4 first-place finishes across JV and varsity. They got second at sectionals and 9th at regionals. Congratulations. Once again, congratulations to all the athletes who competed this fall. That'll do it for this week's edition of Down to the Wire. I'm Elena Baker. Thanks for watching. Back to you, Matthew and Jaron.
Thank you, Elena, for the sports update. This has been HHS In Depth.
Make sure to check our socials for updates on the HHS team and our upcoming projects.
Have a wonderful week in Homestead, and we'll see you back here again next week.